My peace costs too much. My peace costs too much. Oh, no. My peace costs too much. I can't give it away.
What's up? What's up? It's your boy RJ, the quarterback, not your best quarterback, but your favorite quarterback. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with the Quarterback, and I am the resident quarterback, RJ. Hey, this morning I had planned on doing a retape or a redo or a do-over with one of my closest partners, Steve Ferre, but he called early this morning. Instead, said he couldn't make it, so we had to reschedule it, which was fine and understandable. Because as we talk about on this platform, we talk about making changes and having to adapt on the go, right? But however, it led me to another great topic, and I want to say this to those who are at your jobs or got your own businesses, got your own kids. Sometimes you do things and you work hard at things, and there are days that you don't want to do those things, right? And I say this candidly and honestly. When Steve texted me and said he couldn't make it, I texted him, oh well, I just go back to bed, right? Just wrap it up. And sometimes we get like that. But man, we got dressed, we got all set up, we got things in our mind. Um, don't get distracted. Just push on. That might be the time that you get what you're looking for. You may receive that thing that you've been searching for. So, with that being said, me being the resident quarterback, this is a great segue to tell you about an audible. Yeah. Sometimes we gotta make audibles, and what audibles are, for those who don't know football or just simple language, it's when you have a play already called and the defense is doing something that is going to be contrary to what your play is called. So now, as a quarterback, you have to have the ability to now reset the offense and call an audible, or meaning call another play that was not the original play, right? So that's an audible. Now, all my football talking heads, you can go in depth and explain a little more, but just for the folks at home, and remember, this is a conversation. We want to keep the people engaged. So, with that being said, this is an audible. Steve was supposed to be on the show. He couldn't. I was gonna pack it in, which means I couldn't run the same play, right? So I had to make an audible. And so, guess what? Some of us in life have to make audibles. There are times that we have things scheduled, planned, organized, and listen, nobody will say, I don't like to be organized. Man, I like to know the minute, the hour, the second, how's it going down? And sometimes when they call the audible, oh man, ooh, that burned me, right? But it's necessary. And I say that being in the house with two women. I can be dressed and ready to go, sitting in the car, AC blowing, music on, and they'll be saying, "We coming." And for women's term, "we coming" really means about 10 to 20, maybe 10 to 30. Depends on what the event is, right? But for that little one up there, she'll tell you I can be ready in 5 minutes. They on that new math, y'all. Five really mean 30? Yeah, okay. So just a little house humor there. But I love to have things planned. I love to have things organized. I leave 10 minutes earlier than I'm supposed to dealing with Atlanta traffic because I'm going to lose those 10 minutes on 75, 285, 585, 85, 20. I'm going to lose it. So I plan to go 10 minutes, 15 minutes earlier. In the event, Atlanta traffic gives me that big gift. So in life, we plan, we organize, um, we got goals, um, we got goals for our kids, we got uh, party goals, trip goals, and when those things don't happen for us, we have to be able to call an audible. We have to be able to adjust, make decisions, make choices that we wouldn't have had to make if the plan had gone the way it's supposed to. And I'll be the first to tell you that you have to call audibles. Personally, where I thought my life was scripted, where I thought things would go, where I thought things would be, they were not. But thank God, thank God, that what I imagined can never compare to what I have because I was willing to make the audible. And as a quarterback, you have to be willing to make the audible. It is crazy for me as a quarterback under the center, and I see a blitz coming. That means people coming right up the middle. And the play is for me to hand the ball right up the middle. Now, mind you, I played with some great athletes and I played with some wonderful talent. But for me to still hand that ball off and knowing this possibly can end really bad, I have to have the ability to call an audible, change the play. I know I keep saying audible, but I'll say change the play for those who may be getting twisted at home. Change the play. I had to change the play. I remember one game, I think we were playing Hialeah. I think it was Hialeah. All right, shout out to Hialeah. Thoroughbreds, right? Yeah. Or it could have been Hialeah Miami Lakes. Shout out to the Trojans. Um, and I saw the defense getting um, all out of place. And I saw something like, man, I need to call an audible. I need to change the play. And under the center, I changed the play. Perfect. Perfect play. Went out. Went perfect. Should have went for a touchdown. As he was running, he forgot to take the ball with him and fumbled. Perfect audible. Now, no shots fired, no shade. That is to say that even sometimes you call the audible. You did your part. And there may be something that comes along after you made the audible. And so it's easy to be discouraged. It's easy to get upset. It's easy to be disappointed. It's easy to walk away. But remember, you called the audible. You saw whatever it was that you need to do, and you did it. You can never beat yourself up for that. You can never blame others for that because you, you controlling you made the audible, made the play. And for some of us, we may be possibly going to have to make a audible, call an audible, call a different play in our lives, our marriage, our jobs, our family, our friends. It happens. And sometimes when you don't call the audible, we go, you get what we call negative yardage sometimes. That means that you go backwards because you didn't call the audible. And I could have packed it in this morning, called the audible, and said, you know what, I should go back to bed. But I checked out of that. I called another audible. Now, mind you, there are several audibles you can call, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's not just one. So several audibles you can call. Means that there's several options to change the play. So um, we have several options when we call audibles, when we change plays. And one of the most important ones is how do we respond when we make the change, when we call the audible. And there are some things that we call audibles on, change plays on, that sometimes breaks us to our core. Sometimes ask us to question ourselves, ask us to second guess ourselves, ask us, is this really what should have happened? Should I have done that? Because yes, I'm gonna say this too. Sometimes audibles don't work. Audibles don't work. All right. Um, However, you still have to have the courage, right? And so if I call an audible, if I change the play and it doesn't work, right? You know, sometimes you got to go to the sideline. And as a quarterback, you got the head coach meeting you there. You got the offensive coordinator meeting you there. You got the quarterback coach meeting you there. You got the team looking at you. And the question they're going to ask is, why did you change that play? And as a quarterback, you have to be able to articulate, why did you change that play? What did you see that made you think that you would have to change that play? And given upon your response, everybody would say, you know what? Okay, I understand that. They were in a 5-3 and not a 5-2, right? And so when you change plays and call audibles, people may ask you that. But it's for you to be able to be comfortable in the response that you're giving. You have to be able to be okay with calling that audible in your life. And some of us have to call audibles for our kids, right? And even at maybe 24, and that is not telling them what to do. I'm meaning guidance, giving them still life lessons. I told you before, there's nothing more that I enjoy than being a father. Man, I love playing quarterback. I love leading people. I love being a husband. I love being a friend. But there is something about being a father. And you have to be able to see, be a visionary, to see when you need to call audibles in your life. And even for your kids, you play quarterback too. You may not be RJ, you might not be Tom Brady, Lamar. That's cool. You got a first name, Lamar, right? You don't call you your whole name, right? So um you have to do that. And there are times when the team, the family, the friends are rattled or shaken or unsure. And you have to be able to, on the fly, call it audible. Had a situation this week. Daughter had a flat tire in the middle of the night. And immediately their brain shot out. How am I going to get to school? How am I going to get to work? How am I going to get to this job interview? Right? Now, one, it's you only been driving to school for like 6 months. For 5 years, we've been making sure you got to school. For 2 years, we've been making sure you get to work. And I'm sure we'll make sure you get to your job interview. But where the mind went that fast, a flat tire, and it took them there. And as a quarterback, as a leader, as a parent, you got to call an audible to calm everybody down. You see the quarterback sometimes when he's making a note, he do this, he wave his hands. You can't see my arms, but that's keep telling the crowd to be quiet, calm down. We they can't hear. The team can't hear me call the plays. They can't hear me check out to call an audible, to call a different play. And sometimes you have to quiet the stadium noise in your head. And sometimes you got to call it audible. And it may work and it may not work. But you saw something, you believe something, and so you made the decision. And sometimes it's hard to make decisions, right? When you call it audible, I I don't know. You got to make it. And that's how it is in life. We got to sometimes make those tough audibles, them tough plays, those tough calls. And if we do that, it may not work like it's supposed to sometimes, but you made a choice. You know, it's like when people, I hear people now when they going on trips, when they go on trips and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I knew I should have went by myself. Waiting on people. Every time you wait on people, you never go nowhere. Call an audible. Sorry about that. Call an audible. You know what? I don't care what you say. I'm going this trip. Go to eat. Oh yeah, they were coming. Go eat. Go to the movies. Call an audible. Because if, as a quarterback, I wait on people to call an audible, hey, listen, Darren Smith is one of the smartest, brightest, greatest men I know to God's green earth. Now, he might look up and say when he was playing off of a show, you see that? Show, you see that? Yeah, yeah. However, Darren from right there can't yell out to the receivers, to the tight ends and the running back, hey, we going to this play. No, that was my job. My job to make the call, change the play. And I could deal with Coach Allen, Coach Wilson, the team, and I could give an account of why I did what I did. And that's the biggest thing. we have to trust ourselves, right? I've been hearing this song by man, I can't Ravens. Oh man, I'm messing it. I'm blowing the name up. But a song called "Trust the Process." Trust the process, right? And trust the process is as we live this life, we see things. The older we get, the wiser we should be getting, and we know when to call that audible, know when to call that play, know when to check out of that. Hey man, that's not gonna be good. You know, there are some places and some things I don't do anymore because man, I might have done a lot of those things. And shout out to growing up in Miami in the '80s and '90s. Oh my God, crazy times. But that's a podcast for its own self at a different time. But there's some things I don't do. I gotta check out of that. Hey man, you wanna? No, 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 we ain't doing that. You know. But there's them things that uh somebody's celebrating life, and I've been working hard all week. Got the kids, got Jacob playing football, got Kaylee working, got uh Ashley still calling me, got Ryan in Germany, got Porsche in Orlando, and I got kids scattered abroad, right? And thinking about all those things, and I'm like, man, I'm just gonna chill today. Somebody might come along and say, hey man, we're celebrating somebody's life or celebrating somebody's birthday. As much as I want to sit and chill, I got to call it audible because I also want to be present for those who've also been present for me, right? So we can use audibles in different terminology and different things and different processes. But you just have to have the willingness. You got to be able to trust yourself and be able to make the audible, make the call. And again, I keep saying this over and over in this conversation and past conversations and now. It's not always going to be easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. It's not easy leaving marriages and relationships. It's not easy having to terminate employees. It's not easy having to counsel employees. It's not easy having to have tough conversations with your kids. It's not easy seeing a friend going in the wrong direction and having to talk to them. It's not easy sometimes going to a job that you don't like, being around people you dislike. But we have to trust the process, be able to make audibles, make changes to make our lives better and those around us better. I've been fortunate enough that a lot of my audibles have been good audibles in my life. Thank God. Shout out to God. Shout out to God. Because I couldn't do it on my own. Right. Um, and I've been blessed with people along the way when I made those audibles to support and carry me. So the same thing for you today. If you make an audible, trust me, there are people along the way on this journey that will pour into you, support you, walk with you side by side, run with you, limp with you, cry with you, laugh with you, but more importantly, be with you, right? So, man, today I don't know what audible you got to call. I don't know what play you got to change in your life. Personally, it may not be a relationship, may not be kids, may not you don't have those kid problems like me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you don't have some of these leadership situations at work to walk through. It may just be you. What are you going to do with you? But I will tell you this: if you need to make the audible, make the audible. And this is your boy RJ, the quarterback, with conversation with a quarterback. Like I always say, and my good friend Gary Chambers Jr. out of Louisiana says, do good, seek justice, love people.